Hi everyone. In today's video, we're going to be looking through the vendor section. So the vendor section is under the procurement module, and within it you can see we have a supply section and a manufacturer section, which operate much the same. Essentially, these are people who we are procuring from. So we get a list of all of our current suppliers. At the top, we get a count of how many active suppliers we have, the ratio of delivery versus collection supplies, the average supply KPI, which is kind of like an overall ranking of your supply chain health, the amount of suppliers using in-house capture, hotlink, or supplier system, and then the total active manufacturers. What I then look at inside the table, I can see the name of the manufacturers, the code associated with them, the supplier group, the primary contact, if they're a collection or delivery supplier, the supply currency, the default order type, how many orders we've had with them, their current KPI, if they're active, and the date created. So let's go and look at one of our suppliers that we use a lot. So you can see here we've got Mauser. We've used them 11 times and they've got a ranking of 79%. So if you click on any one of your suppliers, you'll now get a supplier specific dashboard. And what you have here is, first of all, a supplier profile in the top left. And what we can do is we can click edit, and we can start editing the information that is in relation to that supplier. So you'll see here we can start to edit things like the name, the status, the group that they're in, their website URL, their address, contact information, ordering and finance information. We can have a look at the products that they supply us with, the assemblies they supply us with, or the items that they supply us with. And what we'll also be able to do is see any documents that we've attached to the supplier. So let's go back to their dashboard. At the top here, what we'll have is a breakdown of the monthly procured volume, their average KPI, the total number of orders, the RFQs that have been converted into POs, so what is their success rate, and then the total PO value. You can also look at your procurement volume by month and see how much you're procuring against a supplier. We could set a date range here and look over a set period of time. We could select an individual item and just look at the volume for that specific item over that date range. So these are really handy for when you want to understand, how much of this item am I procuring from the supplier and how does that look over many months. You also have a little overall supplier leaderboard section here, which tells me where this supplier sits in the total overall leaderboard of my suppliers. I can look in the bottom left and see what kind of items we're procuring from the supplier. So I can see the majority are this cap film, then there's some of the MOSFETs. So this really just gives you a nice little breakdown of what the distribution looks like of the particular types of items. Then your supply KPI section. This is where the AI magic happens. And what you get here is the overall supply KPI. So this is across all the items that they provide with us. They've been given an overall score of 79%. Not bad. Inside that, we have a delivery score of 75%, and this has gone up 1.22%. Remember, your delivery score is essentially built out of how quickly they deliver, how far they are from the variance of the delivery date that they promised, how often that they deliver on time or prior to the delivery date. All of that is considered. Quality score looks at how many of the goods fail QC at receivables, how many of the goods fail while in the manufacturing process, what is the quality of the good that's being received into stock. Quantity score looks at how often they can match the correct amount of quantity we requested. Do they send the right amount of quantity? And is it a situation where if they're delivering less, are they informing us? Costing score starts to look at cost variances, how often they're changing their pricing. Is it increasing month on month? How expensive is it compared to other suppliers of the same item? So it does a holistic check there. Responsiveness is how quickly they get back to us. So the faster the supplier replies, the quicker we can get that information into the system, and the better their responsiveness score. And then a confidence interval score. So the more orders that we have, the scores start to go up and we're more confident in the score allocation that they have. So we can kind of have a look over here and we see the monthly average supply KPI over time. So I can set a period. We could, for example, look at 2014. And what will happen is I'll see the orders that we only started ordering with them in the second half of 2014 from September, and they got better and better. And then looking into 2025, we can also see that they've kind of remained the same around 80%. So this is a pretty good supplier. They're reliable, they're dependable. If the supplier was dipping, we might realize that the supply is actually becoming worse and worse. If they're increasing, there might be a supplier that we should maybe look at for getting other items from. So all this information really just helps with your supply chain health and helping you make better decisions. I hope you found this video informative. If you have any more questions, please follow through to the next video.